Hello, my loves, and welcome back to BehatiLife YouTube channel. If you're meeting for the first time, welcome, and for those of you that are old friends and family, welcome back. As you guys can tell by the title, the title of today's video, we're going to be diving into the energy of the week ahead, and let me tell you, there is so much to break down astrologically and intuitively. I have my tarot cards, I have the astrology chart pulled up. Let's go ahead, get comfy, get cozy, get buckled up, and let's dive right in. I think it goes without stating that clearly there's a lot going on in the world at this moment in time, most of which I've already uncovered, I've discussed, I have brought it to our attention before it is occurring in the way that it is now. For example, food shortages and global rifts, political breakdown, government breakdown, these type of revelations, and also power to the people coming together to reclaim their voice, their power in ways that we are seeing on the internet, in the news, across the board. So there's that. This week is going to be really interesting though. And I want to go ahead and start off by saying that astrology is a really important tool that we use in order to help see the pattern, predict the pattern, and see how it's going to influence us here on Earth. I am intuitive, I am gifted, but a lot of my predictions, or some of my predictions, are pulled from the charts because the timing is spot on, chef's kiss. So I say that to say that I'm not all-knowing, but I can see and I have accuracy because I pulled the charts and this is what is going to unfold. I clearly stated I have confidence in it, even if on the inside I'm like, wow, I don't know how this is going to pan out, but I trust the charts. This is exactly where it is, that it's saying that these energies are going to unfold. So as the messenger, I'm going to put it out there, and Jess, BFF Jess, sits back and watches these predictions as they unfold, always stunned every single time. Astrology and intuition never ceases to amaze me, no matter how long I will ever work with it, understand with it, master it. I'll always be blown away. With that being said, these predictions that it is that I'm sharing with you guys today should not trigger you in any way. They're not intended to trigger you in any way. However, I understand that some people are sensitive. It's not going to be so insanely disruptive. I don't think that it should disrupt your peace, but at the end of the day, have your own discernment with what we're talking about and where your energies lie now, because you're responsible for what you consume. And I'm responsible for letting you know my disclaimer, which is everything that I say is not the intention isn't to shock or provide anxiety, but to provide clarity so that you can know what to expect and you're informed and armed with knowledge so that you can plan and move and pivot accordingly. Okay, so now that we're all on the same page, hopefully, fingers crossed, I got to go ahead and start off by saying that there's so much going on in the astrology charts, right? So Venus is currently transiting through Libra, and it is so easy and so superficial and surface level to immediately say that when Venus is transiting through Libra, love is in the air, love is blooming, right? Not always, and not, I want to say maybe 30% of the time. If that was the case, all astrologers would tell their clients, their customers, their, whoever, that this is the time, this is the season to fall in love. If you look back across the trends, you will see that Venus in Libra doesn't signify falling in love. Oftentimes, it connects us to understanding how our relationships with all different types of energies, from people to the foods that we eat, to our relationship with food, to transportation, to travel, to places, to things, they either vibe, connect, and harmonize with us, or they do not. And when Venus transits through Libra, as astrologers, we look at this transit and we say, okay, this is what we are naturally drawn to at this time. This is what we want. This is what people are attracted to. This is what I'm attracted to. And this is what we can expect. So this is so interesting. Now, I say all of that to say that this week, you are called to sit with yourself. This is a common message that's been coming up a lot in the readings prior, where it's so important for you to separate yourself and to really go deep within yourself and in your relationship with your intuition, the divine, your ancestors, your guides, with the sun transiting through Scorpio. Really go deep and ask even the most difficult questions. Try to find truth, try to find understanding, try to get to the root of what you want, who you are now, what you are aligning with, what you want, where you will compromise, where you will not compromise, because this is what the planets are revealing to us at this moment in time. With Venus transiting through Libra, with the sun transiting through Scorpio, and this full moon that is going to be so powerful, November 5th, in the sign of Taurus, we are immediately in a like slam on the brakes moment or a foot on the gas moment, where we are asked in our lives, does this align, or do I need to separate, split, disconnect, quick rapid fire? It's someone here is going to catch the ick when it comes to energies in their environment towards a person. They are going to realize that I can connect with this person, I can go deep with this person, or I do want this energy, I choose this energy. Or they're going to realize, I need to discard this, I need to separate away from this, and I need to move forward. Now, the interesting part in this, and the part that concerns me, and I'm going to be totally transparent and honest with you, is this full moon, November 5th, happening in the sign of Taurus. Now, even though Uranus is no longer in the sign of Taurus, it is currently in Gemini, the fact that Uranus, now retrograde, going back and retracing its steps into trying to revisit into the sign of Taurus, the fact that it just exited out of Taurus energy, if you're a Taurus sun, moon, rising, you have probably had enough. You feel beat up, you might feel changed, you might feel pivoted, you might feel like, not even close to the same person that you were a few years ago. Circumstances have revealed to you who it is that you are now, and there is no taking steps back. This can also show in your relationships, or something that, like a way that you would normally, or a person or thing that you would normally value, that you would have essentially on a pedestal or give it the benefit of the doubt. You're realizing, wow, again, after Uranus exit out of Taurus, there is a separation or an aha moment, awakening moment, where you have gained true clarity, undeniable clarity in where it is that you stand, or where other energies stand with you, and what you want to do with them. Having said that, the journey to get to that recognition, to get to that answer, again, this is going to hit harder for those of you that are earth signs, but all of us have Taurus ruling something within your chart. You don't have to have planets, personal planets in the sign of Taurus. Taurus does rule a house within your chart. And that area of your life, I promise you, has gotten beat up and evolved and shape-shifted and electrocuted and radicalized so great that to have any more change introduced into your life, there's going to be a level of exhaustion, or your attention to that, your interest in that may have waned, to say the least. There's no desire to go back and change again that which you have been working on, radicalizing. You've done it all. So with this full moon happening in the sign of Taurus, a lot of people are experiencing fatigue in whatever Taurus rules within their life. And so with that being said, we have to give ourselves and each other ample grace. For those of you guys, though, your patience has been pushed and you cannot give grace anymore. You have given grace, and those boundaries could have been trampled on. The territory has been invaded, and you have found your voice, you have found your boundary, and that boundary is built with brick and mortar and stone. It ain't going nowhere. The lessons that you have learned from these past transits, from the last few years, have shape-shifted you into a person that cannot be flexible in the same place that you have learned that this is unmovable. I will not budge in this area. Part of that also has to do with the fact that Chiron retrograde is transiting through Aries. Not only to bring it, just bringing it around full circle and connecting the planets all for you guys, because it's not just this one individual transit. If it was the individual transit, we would just be looking at Venus in Libra and Sun in Scorpio and being like, wow, intense love, intense attraction, intense chemistry, intense magnetism. That is very, very superficial. And no shade to anyone here. You have to look at the entire chart and see exactly what's going on here. There is almost like someone spitting out something here. The planets, the government, the global energies, there's something here that is not able to clearly it's not digesting, right? You're getting such clear awareness, and if you haven't already, right? And with Chiron retrograde directly opposing Venus, you are now in this position where so many of you are being called to start fresh, to start new, even with the full moon, and really start to claim what is yours, be uncompromising. And for some of you, it's going to look like, instead of attracting another energy, another person, another thing, it could represent like a vibe. It could be silence. It could be healing. It could be comfort. It could be safety, security, stability. These are things, or courage, or faith, or fearlessness, or the ability to kind of push past when you're feeling kind of insecure in your position in life, or feeling like you're losing your faith, the strength to kind of push past that and to still show up regardless, or to give yourself the rest that is needed so that you can continue to carry forward. These transits are very transformative. And again, they're shaping you. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it in the moment, but they're really shaping the permanent fixtures of your life. And those things cannot be built on sand. They need to be able to withstand life. They need to be able to withstand when something breaks apart, or when something not extreme happens, but when something kind of shifts and changes. If this is a marriage relationship, there are certain dynamics and aspects that you may have once been attracted to that you're realizing, through these past experiences, I'm realizing that I cannot value aesthetic. I have to value purpose. I have to value path. If we are not in the same path, we separate, or we come together and we build together. That's just one example of what's coming through here. Pluto directly opposing Jupiter. Jupiter in Cancer right now. Pluto directly opposing that, transiting through Aquarius, is also teaching us some major life-changing pivots and experiences that are loud in our face, and sometimes can be frustrating, but other times they could be exhausting for some, or exciting. Some people might be using this transit to find their roots in new homes, like new places, venturing out, exploring your faith, your religious practices, or maybe you're rejecting that now. Really just literally expanding your horizons. And again, this is going to be the permanent fixture of your life. These experiences that no one can take away from you. It could be travel, it could be education, it could be type of people, friendships. You have learned so much from from this transit and these transits that it will stick with you for the rest of your life, and ultimately is shaping you to be the better version of yourself, a better person, and also to attract people who match you where you stand today, who are also going on similar journeys. You may cross paths with these people going through difficult, challenging things together. Let's say a train breaks down and you guys are all in the thick of it. It forces you to talk to your neighbors around you on that train, and then you end up finding that this person who is from a totally different lifestyle, totally different generation, has so much with you in common and becomes a lifelong friend. These transits have a way of pulling up and out of some of the most tricky situations, something that is beautiful, abundant, and lasting. So there's that. I want to tell you too, all right? So be really careful and mindful of your choices this week. give and take some energies here. Now, it's November 2nd that it is that I'm pulling the chart and I'm talking with you guys. I'm going to shuffle and pull on these energies, of course, as I said, but gives like 3 days grace from today, November 2nd, and into, I want to say November 11th, to be honest. Give yourself some grace. We do have November 5th is the full moon. And not only are we having this full moon, but Mars, ruling our drive, our ambition, currently transiting through Sagittarius, or will be transiting through Sagittarius, is going to almost directly oppose immediately Uranus, currently transiting through Gemini. And with the full moon, this is going to be has the potential to be very problematic. I was just telling those who are subscribed to Behati Love Notes take these transits very seriously and keep an eye on the energy. Stay alert, stay vigilant. This is not to make you feel like you need to lock yourself within your home and not go on these walks or meet up with your friends or whatever. It's to show you that there is some real, very real tension that is in the atmosphere at this time, astrologically speaking, bleeding down to us here on Earth. And as soon as you start to feel like the vibe is off, this is not a time to go and sneak and snoop and ask questions and, dig and look or be curious. It is the opportunity to trust that feeling, trust that vibe, and exit stage left, because energies have a real strong potential to go left really quickly. Not only are we going to see this in our intimate lives with random fights, random outbursts, things kind of building up within people that you don't, for some of you guys, you don't even know who this person might be, who could be triggered, especially with the full moon, but it could be emotional. You could get in a fight with a stranger. I'm not saying that this is something that would happen to you. I'm not someone who tends to get into a fight with a stranger, but it's like, when you're like victim of the circumstances, like you're in the area, like the surrounding area, something pops off and you're like, whoa, how did I get caught in that? I don't even know this person. Like, they were just at the table next to me. This is not the time to pull out your phone and record. It is the time for you to immediately separate yourself. At the same time, my loves, you're going to get, let me just start by saying global. This could bring on, and I have to be so careful what and how I say, like what I say on this platform. And if you want me to go a little bit more candid, Behati Love Notes is the way for you. The links for that will be down below. But this could create like revolts. This could create more protests. I would be interested if this happens this week, it's going to be in direct response, immediate response to something someone is saying, a leader is saying, like in a position of serious power, that instantly kind of feels like a shock to the system of the people who are going to be like, it's a clear, this is wrong. Not that this hasn't already happened, but it's going to be an immediate reaction. Now, a lot of times when these types of transits show up, it's not that we immediately see it in the news, right? It's undercurrent, it's happening, and then a week and a half later, 2 weeks later, or a month later, we see what was decided at that time, because then the policy or the rule or whatever is revealed. So from today's date, mark my words, right? It's November 2nd, but it's the days around the 4th, November 4th. Keep an eye on the news if you're interested. Keep an eye on the global front. Someone here, a country, a government could easily be offended, and something could pop off very, very quickly that will set the trend, the tone of what's to come, even with the full moon. And I know a lot of people say that full moons create endings. In this situation, these are circumstances that I don't see this as an ending. I see this as a defining moment that will create like a scar that we all kind of look back and be like, oh, that's what did it. If that makes any sense. In your relationships or in your personal life, someone here is going to come to a moment. How this transit shows up is you become so aggressively, painfully aware that something is either not working or it is. And there's no like gray area. It feels really black and white. It feels very extreme. The universe is working in overtime to let you know that this is taboo for you. This is do not pass go. This is like a hard no versus things that feel like a yes. There's no, if you are trying to find yourself hemming and hawing with what the universe is revealing to you, you're going to find that you're going to create more pain and suffering than if you just immediately accept something for what it is and let it go, right? There is a lot of energy that is also being repressed. Saturn retrograde, Neptune retrograde, Chiron retrograde, Uranus retrograde. And with the retrogrades, sometimes, you know, when you're scrolling around on Tik Tok or whatever, you'll be like, this person is going to change their mind. This is going to fracture. This is going to break. The problem with that is that people will try to compromise and try to skip over because they feel like they're doing that if they would have waited a little bit longer to have this conversation, there was this explosion, then the relationship or this would have been salvaged. The truth is that these energies kind of crack and reveal themselves, and anything that happens during this time was not meant to be avoided, but to be faced head on. And with Saturn, Neptune, Chiron retrograde, Uranus retrograde, even though the planets are retrograde, this energy is being repressed. And with the full moon and with Mars directly opposing Uranus, something pops off like a big old pimple. And whatever it is that is revealed is the infection that needed to be dealt with. And regardless of how you tried to avoid it, it needed to be faced again, once again, head on. With the full moons, there's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of passion. There's a lot of revelation. There's a lot of things being revealed. Allow that to be so. One of the cards, and I'm not going to dive too deep into this because it's their reading, Bahati Love Note subbies, which love you guys. Thank you so much for allowing me to shuffle and pull for you guys on the regular like I have. It's one of my favorite things. One of my favorite ways to start the day is by shuffling and pulling for you. You guys know that tarot and astrology is my love language. So it's always nice to have my cup of coffee, my cup of tea, and to be able to shuffle and pull and to just kind of like navigate through these waters together. But anyways, I was kind of saying this to them that, someone just, I lost my train of thought there talking about the good times. But someone here, there's just no way to put the pieces of the puzzle back together. It is what it is. And you would do better to release the situation, to learn from it, to grow from it. 22 on the clock. So another thing too is that I don't want to overskip and not say this, that these are difficult transits for a lot of people, right? So with Venus currently transiting through Libra, directly opposing Chiron retrograde in the sign of Aries, it's true that this can feel emotionally raw or hit a part of you that is starting to lose faith or starting to lose hope, or just being like, is this ever going to be positive? Is there ever going to be, am I ever going to be blessed in this area? Is there ever going to be a revelation? Is there ever going to be, am I ever going to get like a wish fulfilled here? Am I ever going to get what it is that I want? Really pay attention to that feeling, my love. When you find, looking at the astrology charts, right, just the realist and just BFF here stepping into the chat, I'm not going to ever sugarcoat and tell you something if I don't see it. I really want you to know that if you feel it so strongly deep within your spirit, Jess, I really, really, really want this. I pray about this. I set intention for this. I work my magic for it. I journal about it. I vision board about this. I really want to reassure you, confirm, and celebrate and affirm to you that that is such a powerful feeling. And that in transits like this, it acts as a huge blessing, because anything that is hindering you from reaching out and from it being put in your grasp is immediately being removed. Let's say, and this is one of the questions that I get asked all the time, Jess, what do you see for me with marriage, relationships, my marriage partner? what do you see for this person? Everyone's looking for closure. Everyone's looking for answers. Everyone's looking for love in that department. Like anything involving love, path, and purpose is the question that I get asked all the time. And I love to break it down because I love actually seeing people falling in love. I love love. So think about people who are in situationships, marriages, or in the military, something that's just a random example, but something that locks them in. So it's not so easy for them to start in a new, fresh direction. There's more obstacles than it feels like there are advantages to things kind of coming together. These are the very type of planets that literally reject someone, power reject them from a situation that is not a part of their path, their purpose, or does not align with them within their own intention. But sometimes because people are so comfortable, they refuse to separate and move forward. They refuse, they can't trust. With Jupiter transiting through Cancer and Pluto transiting through Aquarius, this idea of trust and comfort zones is radically being tested. And anybody who is not, which that's kind of all of us. I think all of us are in places where we don't entirely fit into. Not with transits like this. We are really radically growing. Something is evolving and shaping. And I just feel like if you can't say that you are being transformed in some major way, I wonder if there's a part of you that it has a blockage to growth and transformation. Also, transformation doesn't have to be painful or ugly. It could be exciting, exhilarating. So I'm not saying that it has to feel bad. I'm just saying that we are all being called to shift. So, or to look at how others are shifting and take into consideration that we need to help each other. Like, that's a whole nother conversation there. But anyway, imagine you're kind of like stuck in this like comfort zone and you are setting intention for this thing, and the person or the energy that you're setting intention for is stuck and it's not releasing the thing that it's stuck on. These are the type of transits that expel it out of it and into alignment, like bringing you guys in together, bringing the energies together. So if you can, all this to say, if you can express gratitude to the universe, express gratitude to the stars, express gratitude to this divine workings, because it's really, really powerful. And although it can be uncomfortable, it's these type of moments that shift everything so that finally you find what fits. And as human beings, we are wired to constantly grow and evolve. If we're not growing, if we're not evolving, then you got to check your pulse. What's going on there? So allow yourself to learn from this moment. Okay, looking into the tarot, the Chariot card has been a main source of messages lately. The first thing that I see as I'm looking at this card is actually the tornado. And even though I don't... Okay, intuitively what it is that I'm sensing and feeling is that for someone here, your choices and your decisions are the tornado, are what creates this perfect atmosphere for a tornado to be created. This makes a lot of sense. Part of fortune is transiting through Gemini. Uranus is retrograde through Gemini, all retracing its steps back into Taurus. But your choices right now are going to create vortexes, so to speak, of really powerful change. Think about the Wizard of Oz when they say, Dorothy, you're not in Kansas anymore. Someone here is being lifted up and out into newness, new territory, new normal with the Hierophant here. There has to be a new normal. For someone here, I'm also getting a strong message too that your choices are you're being called to be super aware of your choices and how your past choices are the things that allowed you to be where you are today. Having this moment of intuitive grounding, right? Coming to your center, going to your altar, journaling, the choices that you've made in the past, are these choices that you are going to make again in the future? Some choices were one and done. They were fated, they were karmic. I was telling you guys about that for the last few years, that these are some really karmic changes that were going to happen anyway, regardless. And it was one and done. You made the one choice, and that was fated. That was gonna be it. So we allow ourselves to accept the circumstances and how they have brought us to where it is that we are today. But there are moments where we can look back and say, if I could do this all over again, how would I have done this differently? And apply the lesson of those past choices into the present so that you are not stuck in a state of comfort. And I say comfort, not that you are comfortable within that, but we are creatures of habit, and sometimes it's hard for us to choose differently. So, because that's the unknown. So I really am getting a strong sense of you becoming more aware, or asking your ancestors to reveal to you. Yeah. Interesting. Let me sit with this. Also, while I'm sitting with this, I forgot to say this. I've got some Banish fixed candles that are up. The majority of these are sold, but I think there's some that are open. Speaking of choices and removing energy and stuff. So the apothecary is going to be opening up. So make sure that you're subscribed to my newsletter so you can get the full updates within that. And also check out the ritual boxes, which has been carrying so many of you guys through this year. And I'm going to continue to do the ritual boxes in 2026. Working my magic for you guys through lunar oils. It's going to be really powerful. This month of December, we're going to be doing relationships, like sacred union, like really not spicy, but warm depth connection. Okay, Two of Pentacles, Seven of Wands reversed. I feel like for someone here, especially with Venus transiting through Libra, you have to kind of decide. And I was saying this for Behati Love Notes. It's interesting that it's coming up now. You can't really have the best of, I don't say the best of both worlds, but it almost feels like things, again, feel very black and white. To try to push two things together, evil and good, or bad and good, in this circumstance, and I'm not someone who believes in all good or all bad, there's a lot of gray area. It just, there's a message here that Spirit is saying you have to make a choice, because it's not possible to do both. It's not possible to juggle both. You got to put something down, or you got to pick something up. Either way, something has to happen. And if you decide not to do anything, that in itself is a choice. So you have, just be aware. Like there's a need to really be aware. Justice card. Interesting. Five of Cups. So I don't know how to actually say this, because I got an intuitive feeling. It's so funny how a feeling that's half a second can hold such a strong message. That's long. So with the Justice card and the Five of Cups, right? How I see this is, again, like the consequences of our actions reveal to us what is poured into our circumstances, what is poured into our cup. And this is why it's important for you to examine who and what you are reaching out to be filled up by. If it is not negative, if it is negative, if it is not in alignment with you, if it is not what you envision yourself to be, if it's not what you accept or what you co-sign to or even consent to, why choose that? This is so powerful and significant, because some of you guys will be like, why would I choose something that I don't consent to? Think about the moments where, for example, diet and lifestyle. You know that it is in your best interest to eat clean food, to educate yourself, to drink clean water, to rest, and to not overindulge in alcohol or whatever your circumstances are. Everyone's life path and dietary restrictions and whatever are uniquely their own and for you to choose. But knowing what you know about your past and what you know about your body and what you know about your needs, how often do we find ourselves going back to the same comfort zones, knowing fully well that that is not a healthy choice for us, and we continue. We know that that's not it, but the choices that you make every day they ultimately shape who and what you are and what you experience. So with the Justice card showing up and the Five of Cups, it's so powerful because it's like what you reach out for and ask for and fill your cup, fill your hands with, is what you receive. So if what you are receiving and what you are filling into your cup is not good and not what the divine wants for you and not what you want for you or not what future you wants for you, move your hands and ask in a different place, or prepare for yourself in a different way, or venture off in a different direction. Go where that thing is. That is the choice that you can make. Let me shuffle, continue. Let me continue to shuffle. Yeah, Three of Pentacles. Interesting. Someone here, wow, huge message here with the Three of Pentacles and the Lovers card reversed. Someone here is actively, for someone here, I'm really getting a strong sense, no more people pleasing. Whew! No more people pleasing. With Chiron retrograde transiting through Aries, with Sun transiting Scorpio, with the full moon happening in the sign of Taurus, the energy of people pleasing, of trying to compromise, of trying to show up, of trying to extend is something that is creating a drought. If something or someone here is misaligned and is choosing to not, it's just not going to work, right? And this is showing up. This would not be the first time. It just seems like there's like little waves, little cycles, ups and downs. If this is not, if it is what it is, let's accept it for what it is, and let's remove ourselves and go in the different direction, trusting that there's something else there. I said I wasn't going to do this, but I almost want to open up for readings a little bit with this. I really am getting a strong sense that I need to do that. I was not planning on doing that. I just might. How do I want to do this? Okay. Ugh, I'm so nervous to do this. Okay. It's the end of the year. I will open up 5 spots. 4 or 5 spots for readings. If once they are filled, I'm not going to accept anymore, because it is November and then December and then January is going to come. And you guys are like, Jess, you're just literally saying the months. But each month is a focus for me. So that's kind of like, so 5, I'm just going to stick with 4 or 5, probably 4. I'm going to sit with it. I'm really getting a strong sense to kind of dive into these energies a little bit. Especially, it just seems like there's like, I don't want to say this toxic, but it feels like a blockage. I'm just getting the strong sense that someone, like, despite how much they try to kind of separate themselves from this blockage, it's like kind of like pulls them back, and it's just like, let's break it, let's sever it. Okay, I will open up the links down below, I promise. But moving forward, so that resonates with you, I'm there. But the Lovers card and the Three of Pentacles. Someone here also, I can't overlook the fact that we have the King of Swords reversed. And this guy can be very harsh. I do not, and I'm getting the divine speaking this to you. I do not want you in a position where someone is being mean because of fill in the blank. Like, they could be hurt, but they're taking it out on you. They could be afraid, and then they come at you. Their ego could be bruised, and they take every opportunity to make your life difficult, or like shoot you down, or steal your shine, or whatever. That is not okay. That is not acceptable. That is a huge trend that's been showing up lately. That if you are someone who is placating, like trying to do things, and this video is getting too long, so I'm going to cut it off. But guys, I'm telling you, this energy has been wild lately. If you are someone who is people pleasing and trying to harmonize, is it really harmony if your needs aren't being factored in? Are you a stepping stone for other people? Are you just this empty vessel that people can use, discard to get to what they want, where they want, and then when they're done with you, they just kind of toss you out, whether it be an organization, a corporation, a relationship, a friendship? That is not, with the King of Swords, I don't like this energy because it feels really unfair. It feels really cold. Okay, Spirit, I'm so sorry. Can we wrap this up? Okay. Oh, wow. Ooh, Love this. Okay, wasn't expecting this turn of events, but King of Cups, Queen of Cups. Go where you are wanted. Go where you are celebrated. Let your choices, Queen of Pentacles, let your choices reflect places that nourish you, support you, keep you feeling safe. You're not walking on eggshells. You feel supported. You're thriving. You're abundant. You're prosperous. And that from, I'm seeing like Three of Swords, from any space of ache, there's actually blooming, there's actually potential, there's actually emotional maturity, emotional awareness, and connection. So, wow, that was a lot. I wasn't expecting to go so deep with that, but you guys know that that's my way. If this resonated with you, please give this video a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, you're welcome to subscribe. No pressure on my end. It is what it is. I'm sure we'll cross paths. If not, it was wonderful reading for you and your energy. I hope that we do cross paths one day if it's meant to be. For everyone else, thank you again so much for being a part of my circle. Thank you so much for being a part of this beautiful season that it is that I'm in my life right now. All the seasons, the ups and the downs, we've really gone through this together. I'm still randomly kind of reflecting back on New Orleans and what that was like, and how it was such a beautiful place for all the magic that happened for me there. And I can't believe it, but I'm still unpacking that journey. Can you guys relate to that? Do you have a place that just really was definitive for you? That was my spot. The banished candles will, 40/40 on the clock. The banished candles will be added to the apothecary, to the shop, pardon my hair. They will be added to the apothecary. Most of them are reserved. I've got some more that I'm finishing. We are pretty much all caught up on orders besides a few. For some my international friends do know that, I don't know if it's the tariffs, I don't know if it's the revolts, all of these breakdowns that it is that we're seeing, that I'm seeing within the charts. If you're seeing them within your world as well, there have been a few delays. Canada was one of the recent ones that I was like so stunned by. I was able to there was like a little window of with Canada where we were able to get some orders out, and when I tell you I dove onto that, I was like pew, 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 drop it off at the mailbox, or USPS. So also, if you are someone who's working in customer service or in USP, like USPS, postal, a government employee, a federal employee, you have my support, my encouragement tenfold. I'm speaking strength over you, peace over you, and prosperity, abundance, blessings, protection, all of the above. And everyone else, guys, I'm giving you the biggest hug. Thank you so much again for allowing me to connect with your energy. Thank you so much for allowing me to dive in as deep as we did today. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.